Yeah, anything longer than a marathon is considered.
So I got to do a little research, maybe we'll chat.
All right, welcome everybody to the 5:30 p.m. work session of the City Council. We have all council members present, with the exception of Councilmember Myers, who's asked to be excused, and Vice Chair White, who's asked to be excused. Councilmember Blair should be joining us shortly. I did chat with him earlier. So before we get into any council business, just a review of our agenda at the 6 p.m. regular meeting. We have a 5-hour talk by Councilmember Heyer on the Constitution. We've asked him to pare it back to maybe 8 minutes, so we're good there. And then we have a recognition acknowledgements for the National Suicide Prevention Month. Do we have somebody presenting on that?
So that was one of the things I wanted to bring up. I
Oh.
actually need a council member to volunteer for that. It's kind of a long story, but I agreed to put this on for Linda Lartiga, the community engagement advisor. And so, yeah,
Community
there was
engagement and opportunity.
there we go.
Yeah.
So I made just a couple of bullet points if somebody be willing to touch on those.
Do we have a volunteer?
I'd be happy to. I was also going to just talk about Hispanic Heritage Month, but
So maybe we'll
somebody
have
else wants to talk about
Councilmember
suicide
Graff. Do you mind
prevention.
doing the suicide prevention?
Yeah.
As long as she's got some preparation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then have you do
I'm
the
just gonna,
Hispanic.
yeah, say, you know. it's
That sounds
Hispanic
good.
Heritage
We'll have everybody involved. Sounds awesome. We have some minutes approval. I did reach out to Councilmember Blair to review the minutes that were signed to Councilmember Myers. He said he would do that, so we should be okay there. And then we have a consent item, Public Safety Employee Appeal Board. And then reports from the Planning Commission on the proposed sewer master plan. Any questions or comments or discussion on that part? Okay, after that, public comment and comments from council members and mayor. Mayor's not going to be here tonight. He's excused when we have Justin Anderson joining us. And so maybe he's got some comments for us. Give him time to prepare something there. And then we'll consider going into a closed session pursuant to one of the provisions listed. All right, so with that, anything else, Janine, on that aspect? Any other business that we want to talk about before we go?
Just one thing. I'd put in the leadership notes last week that we were going to talk about CIP process, but I was wrong. That's going to be on October 1st. So that was my
Okay.
mistake.
Okay. Good deal. All right. With that, we'll turn the time over to Brandon Garside, Communications Director for the Council Office, to talk about proposed amendments to the Youth Council bylaws.
Thanks, Chair. Good evening, Council. I'm here to present the proposed changes to the Ogden City Youth Council as we move forward with this this year. We are expecting Chair Ellie Gomez to be here shortly. So I will go through my portion of the presentation and stall as much as I can to give her time to get here. She had a family emergency to attend to, but she said she is on her way. Let me do my behind the scenes job real quick. Make sure people on Zoom and Facebook see us as well. Awesome, great. So yeah, in addition to going over the proposed amendments that the Youth Council is proposing to the bylaws and resolution, really it's to the resolution. We're also going to review the goals for the upcoming year and planned activities and whatnot. So with that, I'll get right into it. So there's 5 principal things that we want to have changed, that the Youth Council wants to have change, and that's name continuity, residency exceptions, meeting dates, attendance requirements, and chair requirements, or rather eligibility requirements. So first, pretty simple change, name continuity. Before it was Ogden Youth City Council. And as an organization, the city is known as Ogden City, and those two things should not be separated. And so we just cleaned it up through the bylaws to have it consistently be called the Ogden City Youth Council or OCYC, and the Youth Council Executive Committee, YCEC, which was previously youth. Yeah, I forget what it was previously. Doesn't matter. Point is, now we're trying to make it more consistent and aligned with Ogden City, mirroring kind of that organization. This is something that we hope will change in the future, but currently there is, and we're going to keep this rule in here, but allow exceptions. So the requirement stands that in order to be considered on the youth council, you have to live in Ogden. We had a couple of applicants this year that were not Ogden residents, one of which actually attends in Ogden, but one of the charter schools, I forget which one, but does not technically live in Ogden. The other one, I don't know how they got here, but they live in Layton, and I think, they go to New Ames. And so that's how they heard about us through New Ames. So since the numbers aren't, yes,
Do they go to the Ogden campus of New Ames, or do they go to the Davis?
that's a great question.
That
And
kind of matters to me.
right. And I totally understand that. And I do agree that this program is for Ogden youth. And however, we do not have enough people applying to turn away anybody. So I kind of felt I offered it to the youth council, like, look, like we could have an exception temporarily, and then as we get along further and the program continues to build and we gain more popularity and we get more applicants, we actually have to start turning people away, then we will, right? So, and again, this is subject to change, and and that kind of hope it does, right? But for the meantime, if the youth council feels like they want to make the exception, then they will or can. Dates and attendance, super important. We're changing to Mondays. So for those of you who want to stop by for a meeting, first and third Mondays, typically from 3:30 to 5. And we'll be more to, I know Mavis reached out to you to try to schedule times to be with us, but we may need to revisit that conversation. And the attendance requirements. The attendance requirements apply only to those in leadership, where there are like repercussions and consideration of getting booted from the youth council. Again, this is one of those things with, like, maybe once we get more people applying and in the youth council, that it will apply to more, but for sure, if you're in leadership, we want those kids to be held accountable rather, for attendance and making sure that they're doing their job that they were elected to do. And that brings us to chair eligibility. This was brought up as we were doing the election and people were choosing what they wanted to run for. And we added language that will just require 1 year of service, one full school year of service on the youth council in order to be eligible to be considered for the chair. Just makes sense to have that experience before trying to run the whole thing. And has Ellie chimed in the chat at all? Okay. Well, shout out to Glenn. He's helped me out. I'm supervising the group, but Glenn's always there to help me in case I get out of line or get off track. So
Question.
Yeah,
on,
please.
Just reaching out to the schools
Yeah.
about this. What are we doing? Is there anything? I mean, it sounded like a lot of Ogden High students
a ton.
were coming in, and there seems to be a lot of dialogue there, and almost, I don't know if recruiting or just, it's like, hey, this is something. What's being done in other schools, or what can be done, or what?
I mean, the big reason for the dramatic increase in Ogden High students is because one of the students last year that was on the council that went to Ogden High set up a time for me to go into a classroom with youth government and tell them about the program. And then we instantly had several applicants. With these other schools, and we are reaching out to every school in Ogden, it's emailing administrators, it's emailing teachers, and like trying to get anything we can from that. But so we've definitely learned that in person is helping, is the way to do it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to try to make more of a concerted effort to be at schools.
Yeah.
Do you need
That's a
help
great
with-
idea.
You know, but how can we assist in that?
No, you're totally fine. Yeah, I appreciate that. But I mean, I
think
don't-
If
go
we
ahead.
have a connection with a student government teacher or something, or, you know, we could connect them with you potentially.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've tried to reach out to them but I mean, it would help coming from you more than me.
Well, I just think we probably all have, you know, we all have our high school that our kids went to or whatever.
Sure.
And we probably have a little bit
Some
of an in,
connections,
at least
yeah.
some knowledge, and we could probably do some intros or plow a little ground somehow.
Yeah.
But I think that for our youth council to really be vibrant and successful, there needs to be maybe even a little competition to be on it.
No, I
know?
couldn't agree more. Absolutely. We're getting there.
I don't know if there's a, you know, when they're looking at college applications, if this type of thing can help. If there are any programs like what is it, the IBL program at Ogden High, is this service something that helps check a box, or, and I don't know the answer to that. I was wondering about that the other day, so.
No, it's a good point. I think we could do a lot more in terms of integrating with what the students need for college. I mean, I've written a number of letters
Letters of
of
recommendation, yeah,
recommendation, but
yeah.
beyond that, like we're not specifically looking at a box to check off for kids
Mm-hmm.
to add to their applications, but it is a spot on their resume that they served on the youth council. But yeah, that's a great point that we should
Yeah.
look into something like that for sure.
So Brad, what is the timeline? When do you want to start accepting new applications for the next year, or are you still looking for them for this year?
And that's a conversation we've had with the youth council as well. I tend to want it to be open to a window towards the end of the school year for kids who are coming next year, right? Youth council wants to just have it open year round, and then people can come in and out. I mean, obviously I have my thoughts on it, but I think if a deadline is set, there's more sense of urgency to apply. Whereas if it's just open all the time, I can apply when I want, and maybe I'm not as committed. So there's a conversation to be had there, certainly. And I don't think there's any language in the bylaws about that.
What's the
But
current practice?
say again.
What is the current practice? What are you doing now?
Yeah, so I think the form is open now. We're not like actively pushing it, but the practice is at the end of the year, we make a really hard push, like April through the end of the year for the upcoming year to kind of transition.
Okay.
So do we post it on our website? Is it on our website?
Yes, yeah, there is a page dedicated to the youth council, yes.
Okay. Do we post it like, hey, we're looking for new applicants for that? Perfect. Do we do it on our social media?
Yes,
Okay.
and we
then-
also reach out to, I think we reached out to the school district as well, just to give them information to pass along to their schools and students.
Okay. I do have, well, for a little while, I would have an in at the school district. Maybe we could give a presentation at a school district meeting and
Yeah,
let them know.
Yeah.
And then, lastly, it would probably be, maybe it'd be beneficial in April or 1st of April if we put it on our own social media accounts, push it out that way, and then maybe they could reach out to us and we can say, I want my son or daughter to be on youth council. That's the experience I've had so far. It's not students per se reaching out, it's parents.
okay, yeah,
Reaching out saying, I'd like my son or daughter to be on that.
it's a great point.
So then I think maybe remind us when that time comes.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, you got it, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's great. You know, your presentation at Ogden High School, you have students in student government already interested in that type of a thing. And it just seems like a natural crossover to, although I will say that those students are probably some of the most busy students as well.
Definitely,
But
So
I
that could be a
just wanna-
challenge.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Well,
If I recall, when the youth council was set up with some students from Nurture the Creative Mind that worked with the Mayor Jackson to kind of come up, well, partially with part of the idea. And one thought too, and I understand that we're just kind of looking for not any applicants, but applicants of a range. But I think their idea was to kind of think about groups of students that wouldn't necessarily always be in student government
Yeah,
or wouldn't necessarily always have those kinds of opportunities. So I think, like, I got a request. I was just thinking about this. Tomorrow I'm going to talk to some Latino in Action students.
oh, cool.
So I didn't even think about bringing up this, but I think it's a great opportunity. So there might be some other groups within the schools that might be good to reach out to as well.
yeah, absolutely. It's a great point.
I do think that students asking other students is way more effective than a teacher, parent, or even me.
Even you.
Great. Any other questions for me before I turn it over to Ellie?
I don't think so. I think let's get Ellie up here.
I just,
Or,
just
no, maybe we
one,
do have
one
one.
last one.
Sure.
So when you had an opportunity to kind of assemble a list of interested parties last spring, and now we're in the fall and school has started, has that list stayed the same? Have you lost interest? Have you grown interest? Have you seen any variation in what you left the spring with and what you're presented with this fall?
So when you say list of interested parties, I think just a list of the high schools that I'm going to reach out to and make sure that they know about this at the very least. So
No,
that
I-
has
I
not
just
changed.
meant- I meant kids,
I'm so sorry.
names.
Yeah, yeah,
Applicants that lost interest over the summer.
yeah. There are little variations here and there, nothing too drastic, but
So you
some
didn't see a
do.
precipitous exodus from your list of interested.
No, I'll have to go
students.
back and look at the potential returners. And Ellie could probably help me out with that. But we don't have a ton of returning ones, but we also had a lot of seniors last year. So
I think what he's asking is, are the
Sorry.
people that applied in the spring, did they show up in the fall?
okay,
Thank you.
yes.
All of
Thank
them,
you,
okay.
Janine.
I'm so sorry.
I
I'm
couldn't
so
have been
sorry.
More succinct.
You're good. You're good. Yeah, no, they did. Yes.
Okay.
Janine is really, really good.
So can I ask a little bit of
Yes.
along that?
Please.
So they apply in the spring, we kind of gather our council in the spring.
Yeah.
And then do you take the summer off or do you go all summer? Or do you start when school starts?
So we had a social activity at the end of the year. Then we invited the new kids to the water treatment tour. And then they were doing the parade as well. And then there's not really a break. There is the parade. And then after that, we're pretty much into school. So yeah, there's not a big break. So we try to get them involved right after they apply and get in and just keep it rolling into the school year.
Okay. I would think the parade would be a big one. Do we have any type of advertising for them when they're riding in the parade? Like join
Sign
the
up
youth
here.
council?
It's a good idea.
Little QR code maybe?
Yeah, we do not.
Okay,
Massive QR code would
Yeah.
be great.
awesome. Okay, I was
Yeah.
just wondering, maybe.
Yeah, no, that's
Maybe
great.
sending out
That's a good
another one in
idea.
the fall, maybe. I mean, if they haven't missed very much,
Yeah,
maybe something in the fall real quick, just be like, if you're interested, come now. But maybe,
yeah, for sure.
okay.
There's
until
also
we
the
get-
electric light
Until we
parade.
get full, yeah,
Yeah,
until we get full.
Yeah.
All right, we want to give Ellie plenty of time, so
okay. Come on up. Right up here, grab this chair. You can sit right by me. I'll do it for you. There's the outline and
Okay, cool.
you can just hit the space bar to advance.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Sorry for being late, guys. On top of being a high school student, I'm an older sister, so
Yeah.
that also comes with responsibility.
do you want to introduce your guest that you brought with you?
Oh, yeah, so that's my sister Briella, who plays in basketball actually. So she's amazing. And then it's my younger brother Jaden, who's surprisingly good at like computers.
Nice,
So we'll see where he goes into that.
awesome,
But
thank you.
yeah, those are my siblings. Okay. So this was a look of 24 to 25. We did accomplish a lot. of that year. I feel more when it came to like a group rather than like physical things like we actually did. I feel like our group kind of came together even when some people left, kind of what Brandon was talking about. So yeah, we did like tours, local official day, a bunch of service project and social activities. We did probably one social activity that year.
Yeah,
24?
talk about this year. What we're planning to do. Yeah, 24, 25.
Oh.
That's right. You're
I'm
good.
so
No,
sorry.
you're chilling. You're doing
I
fine.
read every time I rehearse that, I don't know why I don't know.
Good, you're good, yeah.
Okay, that's what we plan on doing. But yeah, probably to feedback on what we did last year. Last year we only had one social activity, so hopefully we can get more going on. With last year and our development of a group, this year I'm kind of hoping that we can play and tie in both of those things. You know, having like a social environment where people can like collaborate and stuff, and then also like getting a lot done. You know, like when it comes to service projects and stuff. So yeah, it's
I was wondering, can we be invited to your social events or your service project? You know, you never know, we might be able to come and help.
are you asking if you could be part of it?
Yeah, any of the.
Oh,
council
yeah,
members.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I feel like also that'd be kind of a cool way for them to be like, oh, like, you know,
Yeah.
they also have fun too, you know?
I mean,
So,
sometimes we're busy, but you never know. We might be able to.
okay, that's great to know. Yeah, I'll have that little setup for you guys can be invited to stuff like that too. That'd be fun. So towards the water treatment plant, how many people went last year? So we can help for this year.
I don't know, quite a bit though. Or for this year it wasn't as much, but we'll, yeah, have
Yeah.
more next year. for sure.
And then public
For
safety
sure.
building. We're gonna hopefully this year we're gonna have a lot of tours and more people coming to those because I know last year we didn't have many people come to those. I don't know if they didn't like weren't into it or something like that. But this year we're having more strict on like attendance. So for those type of like tours and stuff, we are gonna have more people come in and hopefully be interested. I know some from the outside, it's like, oh, why would I want to take a tour of this building until we actually like go in it? It's like, oh wow, I didn't even know this was here. So I think that's where we're going to start off this year, especially is having more participation in that, and enforcing that, allowing that
I definitely want to
participation.
come when you go to the municipal building tour, because I haven't been to the basement. Yeah, we joked.
Oh,
about
really?
That we had never been down there.
Yeah,
Go to the basement.
yeah, that'd be pretty exciting. I remember one time we kind of like looked up, we went upstairs and like to the roof and saw everything. It was first surprising. I was like, wow, you guys can see all of the city. It was amazing. So I think the opportunity for others would be a great thing too. So
I also today just confirmed that we're gonna be doing a tour of the elections office at the county in October, so
It's a good tour.
right before the election, so that'll be fun. Just keep on, we don't have a ton of time.
yeah,
We got,
yeah.
like, 6
Okay,
minutes.
so local officials day. We did that I think for through 2 years now. So this year is gonna be really exciting. Again, kind of enforcing that, being present, being there. So hopefully we'll get, a better shot. Last year was kind of difficult with the snow and everything, and a lot of people had school. So this year definitely enforcing that people come. Okay, so these are potential our service projects. So what we're focusing on this year is kind of like this is what putting all of our energy into. Of course, we'll have smaller ones, but we're gonna have kind of cut down to one major one we can all put our focus on. So those are gonna be like clothing drive, planting flowers, Veterans Day, Memorial Day. Um, and with that, I kind of said that I want to have like a whole idea, kind of speak about why are we doing this. So like whether we're doing clothing drive, our main idea is gonna be recycling. We need to recycle, and then have the clothing drive. Because I think it makes an impact, like instead of just being like, hey, we're here present, this is what we're doing, why are we doing this? So that's kind of what I told the group that I wanted to do a main idea and then have like our project go around that. So yes.
Oh, and real quick, I'll just touch on this.
Yeah, you're good.
So last year we were reached out to participate in the My Impact Challenge. We didn't really have time to put anything together, so we challenged the council, the youth council, to put together a bigger service project to that we can submit to this this competition. And last year it was hosted at Utah Valley University, so I don't know where it will be hosted this year, but that's the idea, to participate in this civic contest. So we'll keep you posted on that with our end of year review.
Yeah, and then just social activities, kind of how we talked about. With all like the team experience I've had, I learned that the moment we start bonding is the moment more ideas come together and more people feel free to share their ideas. So this year I was kind of just like right off the bat, I was really adamant about focusing on social activities from the get-go because I want everyone to feel comfortable, even the new people coming in. Like I'm a senior this year, I'm leaving, so I want whoever's next to feel comfortable, like, hey, this is my position, this is where I'm at. Like, let's start talking. Like, what do we want to do? So yeah, social activities will hopefully have a lot. Anthony seems really like happy and excited to get started on that. So I'm really excited for this year. I know he's really excited to start those social activities.
Awesome.
Did you get any boys in in the council? All that was girls' pictures.
Girls.
Well, there was
The local officials, they had.
there's Aiden.
Aiden.
Hayden was there. He
Oh,
was
I
one of the
remember
two that were there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of a similar ratio of women to men on the council.
similar, isn't it? Yeah.
Opposite.
How did you hear about youth council?
How did I hear about it?
Uh-huh.
So I had Oscar Mata. I don't know if
Okay.
you guys know him. Yeah, he's my favorite. Yeah, he was one of my advisors, you could so call, and he kind of let me know about this.
At Loman? Where?
At Da Vinci
At
Academy.
Okay.
In the beginning, when we came back from Zoom, there was a big like percentage of Da Vinci students, and then it kind of slowly transitioned to people breaking off more and more.
Okay.
And then it was like New Ames, and now it's Ogden High. So we see that switch of like students, hearing from more people.
Yes.
So yeah. Any more questions?
Did you put the presentation together or did Brandon? I didn't see any B-real pictures, so it must have been Brandon.
Oh, there was some B-real.
There
Yeah,
was
there
one.
was some. Definitely. There it was. I went too far. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are better ones though.
There, oh, yeah.
There's a lot. For those two, you'll see a lot. Hopefully at the end, I'll make him put them in there. Okay.
All right. Thank you
Anything
so much for being here. And a list comes to us on October 1st for these changes. And so we'll look at it then. One calendar item before we, if there's any other council comments, but one calendar item is just a reminder, we won't have a meeting next week. However, we do have our legislative breakfast at 7 a.m. on Thursday, the 26th. And so that'll be here in this room.
Yeah, and the planning commission joint work session tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is next.
And that's food at 5 and
Food at 5.
business at 5:30.
Yeah.
Okay. And before we go, I just want to commend those on council, and it's Glenn and Brandon, for sponsoring the youth council. It's one more thing, but I think it's a really wonderful thing to introduce young people to what it means to be part of what makes Ogden go, at least on a governmental level. So thanks for the time you put into it and the relationships you build with these young people to involve them in youth council. Thanks.
All right. With that, we're going to adjourn. We'll be picking back up as close to 6 as we can in the other room. So